am author and historian Janelle Molony, author of Immigrant Tales of the Platte River Raids, which details events occurring July 12, 13, and 14 of 1864 that involves the Deer Creek Station here in Glen Rock, Wyoming. At the end of the Platte River Raids, we actually had a large group of thousands, up to 2,000 immigrants kind of huddled around Deer Creek Station, and in about 1 week, 250 soldiers arrived responding to this crisis. When Josiah rallied up his troops, or his impromptu aid to go find Fanny, he actually was part of these expeditions to try and get information from the local Plains Indians. There was bands of Indians that weren't part of anything, and they were being shaken down and investigated for their involvement, and maybe they had nothing to do with it. So there was some retaliatory responses and major dislike for the soldiers coming out this way. A gentleman named John Brown was part of the expedition that went out with Josiah to interrogate local tribes and to try and find Fanny Kelly. And John Brown had he was trigger happy is what I would say. He was ready to pick a fight. So when they got to a group of Indians that they wanted to ask questions of, they weren't going to do that very comfortably or easily. So they expressed, we're not talking to you, this is not cool. And the group that John Brown took out, including Josiah Kelly, said, we actually don't want to pick a fight with these people. So they turned around and left. And John Brown didn't back down. And he continued to fight them on his own. And he was shot. He took an arrow through his neck. And everyone said, oh yeah, he's left for dead. So they actually went back out to go see if they could collect his body the next day. And when they found him, he was still alive. And they found that arrow in his throat, and they said, okay, well, let's take that arrow out and we'll give you a sip of water. And they gave him water, and it went down his throat and out the side, and he died out there. And now we have I think it's Brown Spring or Brown Creek that's out there, which is in the area of where he was initially buried. I find it interesting that they didn't bring him home right away. They still had more work to do on their expeditions. So they took out his innards, filled it with salt, buried him under sand, kind of like a we'll be right back kind of thing. They went out, continued their expedition, and on the way home came and picked him up, and he was sort of preserved in that condition, brought him back to Deer Creek, and buried him with military honors.